You rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, folks, this is how to mix clay using a pug mill. So we have two buckets of scrap. You have stiff scrap and you have wet scrap. When we are throwing away clay, we don't throw it in the trash, we throw it in these recycling bins. And basically, stiff clay is this. It's clay that when you touch it, it does not leave mud on your fingers. So if it's just dust, it's stiff. It leaves nothing on your fingers, it's stiff. Wet clay, when you touch it, it leaves mud on your finger. Okay, so that's the difference. Wet clay goes there, stiff clay goes there. When we're going to recycle clay with the pug mill, basically what we're going to do is take a mix of both, put it in here, mix it up, and then pug it up. So, pug mill. It's kind of covered in clay right now, so it's hard to see, but this is the off button, this is the mix button, this is the pug button. So we've got three buttons that we're going to be working with. This is the hopper door, and Fabian, come inside and look. This is inside the hopper. You can see there's some blades in there. This is where the clay goes. That blade turns and it mixes the clay up, and then when we push pug, it reverses the blade and pushes it out the nozzle. Okay, you can back up. So you see, when you looked inside, there was some empty space, some negative space in there. And I'm going to put a mix of the stiff stuff. Just pretend this is stiff clay, because we're out of stiff clay. So add some stiff clay and some wet clay, and then I close it, and I just turn it on, basically just to turn the blade over once, to make some more room. Still need a little. Okay, and Fabian, you want to come close again to look inside? I'm going to show you what it looks like. A common mistake people will make is they'll put too much wet clay inside, and I just put too much wet clay inside. And so when I push mix, and I open it, I can see all the clay is stuck to the blade, and it's just spinning around. It is not mixing. So watch again. I open it, it's stuck to the blade. So this is not mixing. When you get that happening, you can back up again. You need to add more stiff clay. So two things can make the clay stick to the blade and spin. The most common is there's too much wet clay in there. The second thing that can cause it is there's not enough clay in there at all. It's just not much clay, so it's not mixing. It's still spinning, and I am out of stiff clay. So when we're out of stiff clay, we're going to switch to using this dry powdered clay. So here's a mix of fire clay and ball clay. So without explaining too much about where those two clays come from, it's basically dry powdered clay. There's no water in this. So I'm going to add a little at a time. It's kind of like flour. Add a little at a time. Gently. I gently scooped it up, gently poured it in there because it's pure dust. And the dust, remember, is the stuff we don't want to get into the air. So I'm being as gentle as I can. I don't want to just throw it in there and make a huge dust cloud. So I do a couple little scoops at a time, and then gently shut it. Mix again. And what I'm feeling for on the handle is once it starts mixing, it'll start pushing up on the handle. You'll feel it pushing, rolling around in there. And, okay, Fabian, you want to come get a close look at what's going on inside? It's starting to mix again, but I'm going to add just a little bit more of the dry powder. And close it again. Keep watching, Fabian. And watch when I open it, you'll see it's not spinning anymore. You can see it's really actually blending in there. So I should let it go for about a minute, but I can feel already that feels like nice clay. So I think I've got a good mix in there. Let's just make sure it mixes thoroughly, so I'm going to give it about, you can back up again. I don't know, should I give it 30 seconds? You guys got any good jokes? Okay. Oh, there, that was funny. Thank you. Fart noises always come through when you need a good laugh. Okay, that should be enough mixing. Let's check it again. I'm going to get a little piece. And by the way, don't put your hand in here while the engine's turning, or the motor's turning. You see it turns off when I open it, but if I were fast enough and I really just wanted to get rid of my hand, I could open it and I could jam my hand in there and it would take my hand off if you're quick. So don't do that if you want to keep your hand. Just don't do it, period. All right, it's ready to pug. So let's close it and I push the pug button. This is a fresh pug bucket. If you ever want to pug a whole bucket of clay for other people to use, feel free to pug and put it in this bucket. Usually there's nothing in there. So I'm going to break off about 12-inch logs. Think about your Subway foot-long sandwich. When it's about that size, break it off. Maybe you're showing how I'm stacking it here. So I'm going to put 4 of these. And this is going to be a bag of clay. Now there's enough clay in the machine right now to pug out 2.5, maybe 3 bags of clay. I'm going to stop here and show you how to bag this. It's a great idea to pug with a partner, because 2 people can do this a lot faster, as long as at least one of them really knows what they're doing. So this bag has been turned inside out, so this is the dirty side is out. Is it? Yeah. So it's inside out, and I'm just going to roll it down the clay like this, and then flip it over, and then up here on the windowsill, check it out. This is the cap to the pug mill. On the end it goes here. When you're ready to use this, this is a good place to put it so it doesn't get lost. And normally, it's not here right now, but I'll put a little box of twist ties, green twist ties, that you can tie this off. Oh, here's one right here. But you don't need this. You don't really need this. You could also just take the twisted plastic, tuck it underneath, put it in your locker like that. This will stay wet and moist for several years, just like this. Okay? The whole area, make sure you clean it thoroughly when you're done. Anything that fell on the floor. You're going to get a lot of these little pieces of clay falling on the floor like this. Get a dustpan and a scraper and get down there and scrape all this stuff up. Which, you get the idea. Scoop it up, put it in the trash, and clean your mess. Also make sure you put your name and period on your bag of clay so it doesn't get lost. You guys have any questions? Studio audience? You good to go? Okay. Thank you for watching.